Why you giving me the face?
What?
What's your problem?
What?
Why you giving me the finger?
The video shows an officer driving a car, but suddenly he stops because of a teen who showed him the middle finger. So what did he do actually? Why did the boy take part in such behavior? Stay tuned to the video till the end to find out.
Why you giving me the finger? What's your problem?
Am I free to go?
No.
What, do you have a problem?
No.
Do you have a problem?
No.
You don't have a problem, then I can leave.
Why you giving me the finger when you're walking?
The officer gets out of the car and asks the boy exactly what is his problem. Why are you giving me the middle finger? But the boy does not react directly and instead asks whether he is free to leave. The officer refuses to let him go and questions him again about why he gave him the middle finger.
Huh? Come here. Get over here.
What?
Get over here.
Is that a lawful order?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because you're giving me the finger.
The cop asks the boy again to come over. The boy asks him if it is a legal order, but he doesn't understand why. The officer then tells him that it is against the law for him to give the officer the finger, but the boy says that's not true. According to the law, Mr. Walker's use of the middle finger was protected speech, and he could not be arrested for making the gesture at corporal pitch.
Whatever.
You.
What?
You heard me. What,
Come here.
I'm afraid of you?
Come here. Get over here.
What?
Get over here.
The officer lets him go, but as the boy walks off, he again says something disrespectful to the officer.
Get over here.
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, you are. You just cursed me off.
That's not a crime.
Yes, it is.
The cop tells the boy to come over here when he calls him back. The boy then says, I'm not breaking the law, but the cop says it is against the law because he cursed at him. The argument between the boy and the officer carries on until this happened.
Help!
No help.
Help! Help!
No.
Help!
When Mr. Walker begins screaming for help, the officer grabs him and puts his hands behind his back. Corporal Pritch turns his body-worn camera off and doesn't turn it back on until backup comes. It is obvious that the officer's actions, including turning off the body-worn camera, violated both state law and the Attorney General's policy.
It is legal. He's allowed to detain you until he performs his
So what am I
investigation.
doing, though? What am I doing that made him detain me? What legal
Every
right?
time I rode by him twice, he shot me the finger. So I turned around and said, well, you're
Is that a crime?
problem?
The other officer arrives and says it's legal to detain the boy, but the boy is still arguing that it is not a crime. So the first officer explains that he has shown the middle finger twice.
He's looking at you because he's like, what the fuck you want me to do? Because it's not a crime. I know my rights.
Who are you?
I don't have to say any of that.
You do if you're being detained.
For what reason?
What?
The boy then asks the officers who have just come, what's the legal reason I'm being held? Where is this coming from? And what's the legal reason? Michael James LaMontagne arrives on the scene and informs the boy is required to identify himself because he is being detained despite the fact that he cannot provide a legal justification for the detention. However, New Jersey lacks a stop and identify statute that specifically requires Mr. Walker to identify himself, and courts have determined that New Jersey's obstruction statute cannot be applied to individuals who refuse to identify themselves to police.
Why are you shooting me to think? Why are you...
Is that illegal?
Why are
Cursing
you
at
flipping the bird? Yes, it is. When you are cursing in public, you are causing a public disturbance. You're being a nuisance to the public.
The second officer asserts that the boy must identify himself. The officer goes on to explain that it is forbidden to curse in public because you're causing a public disturbance and being a nuisance to the public. In what way? When he was driving by. It's called calls from a public disturbance, and it doesn't mean you've been charged with anything. You're being detained at that point.
What reason does he need to detain you?
He thought maybe he thought you were signaling him down. Were
I
you
was.
signaling to him?
No,
Listen, I was-
no, you knew very well that I wasn't signaling to you, right? I wasn't signaling to you.
You bring attention to yourself.
That's not signaling.
You're acting strange. I'm making sure you're okay.
Dude, that's so funny. Like, you're not here for my safety. You're not trying to protect
How
me.
do you know?
You're walking
may
on the
be-
side of the road and you're cursing and you're flipping the bird.
The boy asks again for what reason he's being detained, and they all start arguing.
Do you know him? Do you know him?
It's not your business. I
It is
plead the
my
fifth.
business.
I plead the fifth then.
Yeah, well, it's
What's the
your
First
public
Amendment for?
Okay. The First Amendment is for your freedom of speech. Okay.
Okay.
What does that have to do with?
Was I
Using
making a call to
gestures.
action? Am I
you-
calling for an action to be done against you?
Do
No.
you understand
You're
that
bringing
it is?
attention to
Listen,
yourself to get
listen,
invested.
listen.
That's not legal.
It's
The boy asks for his First Amendment, and the officer explains it.
so
Well, I
legally
would-
you need to hold anything.
Well, I want to know from your perspective.
I
What was I
pulled up
doing?
onto the scene, so you tell me what you were
To
doing.
bring your attention to
I
yourself.
plead the fifth. You idiot. How long have you been a cop? 6?
Longer than you.
Listen,
Longer than you, I'm not a cop.
I don't understand what the point of this is.
The boy asks for the perspective of another cop.
Now what happens?
He just admitted that
now
he was
what
going
happens
to
is when
arrest
he
me.
gives you a lawful order to stop, and you do
It
not stop.
wasn't a lawful order, though.
And you do not stop.
It legally was not a lawful
and
order.
you do not stop, then that becomes a criminal offense, and then yes, you can be put under
But
arrest.
it's not a lawful order. Then I take it to court, and then he'd get sued, and I get
Maybe.
punitive damages. I'd be rich. Is that what you want?
That
you don't know the law.
may be what happens.
You don't know
if
the
you
law.
think that's going to happen.
The boy laughs at what the officer says and then says he just admitted he gives you a lawful order to stop and you don't do it. It wasn't all Florida, though, and you do it legally. That becomes a criminal offense, and then yes, you can be put under, but it's not a lawful order. Then I take it to court, and then he gets sued, and I get millions in damages. I'd be rich, is what you wanted. The officer stated that the Fourth Amendment was not violated in this case since no seizure happened. Mr. Walker, the boy, was not arrested. However, as the Supreme Court explained in the infamous 1968 decision of Terry v. Ohio, the Fourth Amendment guarantees the right of the people to be safe in their persons, homes, papers, or belongings against unreasonable searches and seizures. However, it is clear that Mr. Walker was captured when Corporal Pritch, the officer, made physical contact with him in order to prevent him from fleeing. However, it is also quite likely that a judge would determine that Mr. Walker was detained for Fourth Amendment purposes when Corporal Pritch first ordered him to stop and he accepted.
That may be what's going to happen. It may not be what happens. Okay?
Okay, I
What may
understand.
happen is,
All right, so what are we wasting time for?
jury.
Am I free to go?
What
Am I
may
free to
happen
go?
is you may get
Am I
a
free to
normal
go?
jury. No, because at this point
For what reason?
you were detained, okay, because he told you to stop
Okay.
and you didn't stop.
Okay.
So therefore, you need to identify yourself as a part of the investigation. So what is your name?
Okay, I'm gonna need all of your badge numbers.
I will give you everything written down on a card. What is your
I
name?
could give you.
If you have an ID, that's perfect.
Okay? I'll take it to court
If you have
because
an
this
ID,
is
that's
still
perfect.
this is still a detainment.
Are you a juvenile?
This is an illegal detainment.
Are you
so
a
I can
juvenile?
I'm not going to answer that.
The teenager asks if he is free to leave, but the officer says no because he is detained. He must identify himself as a participant in the investigation. The boy becomes more aware of his surroundings and informs them that he intends to take off all the badge numbers. The officer responds that everything will be written down on a card, but the boy believes it is still entertaining.
Okay?
Well, I'm going to
And
take
you
a
can do
lawsuit.
that.
So who would I press criminal charges against?
For what? You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to
police
call. You're gonna have to call and
For
figure
what?
that out with a lawyer. You would have
Yeah.
to file a complaint with the courts.
Got it.
Okay, and then you can go from there if you want to see if you can press charges and whatnot if you're
Perfect.
violating your rights.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Stay
All
out
right,
of the
am I free
roadway.
to go?
Don't give us fingers.
Shut the f up.
Stay out of the roadway. Stop causing a public alarm.
Dude, shut the f up. Am I free
Stop
to go?
cursing, okay?
Well, I'm going to
And
take
you
a
can do
lawsuit.
that.
So who would I press criminal charges against?
For what? You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to
police
call. You're gonna have to call and figure that out with a lawyer.
The boy asks the lawyer to prove them wrong legally about how he was making a disturbance. The officer tells him that for further investigation, he'll have to call and talk to a lawyer about that. If your rights have been violated, you have to make a complaint with the courts. From there, you can decide if you want to press charges or do other things.
Am I
You're free to go.
Stop cursing. Go.
You're free to.
When the officers let him go free, Mr. Walker left from there without causing any further incident. After the incident, less information was known, so we don't know what they did as per the investigation. On the evening of September 21st, 2019, law enforcement authorities swiftly reacted to a distressing domestic violence call that had emanated from an apartment in Austin, Texas. Deputy Pereira, a dedicated officer serving with the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, promptly arrived at the location. The door he knocked on belonged to the residence of Skylar Leo, a young 20-year-old woman who cohabited with her boyfriend Eric Ramirez. The call, urgently placed by a concerned neighbor, compelled the officers to investigate the situation without delay. Ms. Leo informed Deputy Pereira that Mr. Ramirez had left the apartment and didn't know his whereabouts. She also expressed her unwillingness to press charges of domestic assault.
Look up for me. What's on your neck? What happened?
Nothing happened.
So I have witnesses saying something happened. So are you trying to protect him?
No, I just really don't like dealing with y'all. I really don't want to deal with y'all. I really don't.
Okay. So
I don't need to talk to y'all. I really don't.
Do you have your ID on you or anything?
No, I don't.
So what's your last name?
Domestic violence laws vary across states, including how abuse is defined, the charges against abusers, and mandatory reporting requirements. In Texas, officers have discretion in making arrests for domestic violence incidents. Despite Ms. Leo's reluctance to press charges, law enforcement and prosecutors can pursue criminal actions based on their investigation and evidence. Texas law emphasizes the protection of domestic violence victims, regardless of their cooperation.
So were y'all? I'm trying to figure out why your friends called the cops,
What friend?
or your witnesses, whoever was over here that called us. So what?
We got into an argument.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. It was nothing physical?
Nothing physical.
Where are the marks on your neck from?
We got into my necklace right here.
No, this right here. What is that from?
Does it really matter?
Yes. I'm gonna make sure you're okay.
I'm fine, ma'am.
So
I'm fine. Like literally, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I get a rash talking to y'all. I do not want to talk to you. And especially Williamson County, y'all have a really bad reputation. I've bad encounters with y'all. I do not want to
I'm not gonna hurt you.
I know you aren't, ma'am.
Okay, so we need your cooperation.
I know, and I'm
Do you want to press charges?
I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Thus, the police had a duty to safeguard Miss Leo's well-being during their response. Deputy Lorenzo Hernandez, previously featured on a reality show, encountered a situation where he tried to enter Miss Leo's apartment. Although Miss Leo protested, the Fourth Amendment allows officers to enter a citizen's home without a warrant under certain circumstances, such as protecting individuals from immediate harm, like in cases of domestic violence. Courts have often given officers broad discretion in responding to domestic violence calls. Based on these precedents, it's likely that a court would find Deputy Hernandez's entry into Miss Leo's apartment justifiable to ensure her safety, despite her objection. However, we must also address the legality of use of force in this situation. Deputy Hernandez contends that Miss Leo's non-compliance justified the altercation and the use of force by the deputies. However, a court would likely disagree, as it must assess the reasonableness of the force used. In the 1989 Supreme Court case of Graham v. Connor, courts considered the severity of the crime, the threat posed to officers or others, and whether the suspect is actively resisting arrest. The 2018 case of Darden v. City of Fort Worth further emphasized that excessive force occurs when an arrestee is not actively resisting. Ms. Leo, a victim not resisting arrest, faced unwarranted aggression. A court would undoubtedly find Deputy Hernandez's actions excessive. Sheriff Robert Shodey initiated an internal investigation after an altercation, leading to Deputy Hernandez's one-day suspension. Surprisingly, Hernandez was later promoted to detective, but in January 2021, he resigned when former Sheriff Shodey lost to current Sheriff Mike Gleason. Subsequently, Hernandez faced charges of official oppression and assault for his excessive use of force against Miss Leo.
When she in my house, I'm like, well, we gotta find the guy that allegedly did this. So she didn't give direction, travel, description, anything. She's like, he left. I don't know where he went.
Third level, Dickerson.
Satisfaction.
So we need to see if this guy's inside your apartment.
Who else is in here?
She filed a lawsuit against him in the Williamson County Sheriff's Office on September 20th, 2021. Both the criminal charges against Hernandez and Miss Leo's civil suit remain pending. His actions were unacceptable, rapidly escalating a peaceful situation, showing unprofessionalism and using excessive force.
Went to my apartment. Y'all, with what? I'm literally gonna press charges on y'all.
We have a possible felony.
Possible felony?
Yes.
For what? For who? He's not here, I'm telling you.
But you don't know where he went?
I don't know where he went. Lady.
Okay.
Like, what?
Yeah, so you can understand why you're in handcuffs right now?
So what happened? We were trying to talk, right? That's all we were trying to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna take
Is there
these
a light in
handcuffs
here?
off you.
How do you turn the light
Are
on?
we gonna be cool if we take these handcuffs off?
The light's not on. It's not on.
It's All right, ma'am. So I wasn't here with information to relate to you. When we come to stuff like this, we're going to check for safety reasons, okay? We're going to make sure he's not here and you're not hiding in. We understand you don't want to cooperate. We can't force you to do that. We get that. We understand that. But you don't do what you just did. Not when we show up for something like this. We don't get your cooperation. That is what happens.
Yes.
Okay?
The deputy's authority to enter Miss Leo's apartment for the domestic disturbance is still debated. Here's our next story of a cop getting fired. On June 26, 2020, a 73-year-old woman named Karen Gardner, who suffered from dementia and sensory aphasia, which impaired her ability to communicate and understand, attempted to leave a Walmart in Loveland, California, carrying unpaid items worth $13.88. Store employees stopped her for leaving, and Miss Gardner tried to offer her a credit card to pay for the items, but they refused and took the items back. Eventually, she left the store. Subsequently, a Walmart employee reported the incident to the Loveland Police Department, and Officer Austin Hopp responded to the call. He located Miss Gardner as she was walking home on the side of the road and pulled up behind her with his lights on. When she didn't stop, he parked his vehicle and approached her. After failing to effectively communicate with Miss Gardner, Officer Hopp grabs her and throws her to the ground in an attempt to restrain her.
Ma'am, police, stop. You want to stop with lights on, siren? Stop. You just left Walmart. Do you need to be arrested right now? No. Okay. Stop.
Miss Garner, visibly confused, repeatedly tells Officer Hop that she's going home, as the two engage in a brief scuffle. Eventually, Officer Hop's able to place Miss Garner into handcuffs and lead her back to his patrol car. Shortly after Officer Hop gained control of Miss Garner, Daria Jalali arrived on the scene. The two officers, Hop and Jalali, once again forced Miss Garner to the ground. Officer Jalali assisted Officer Hop in restraining Miss Garner's feet and placing her in the patrol vehicle. A concerned citizen confronted Officer Hop about his conduct. Officer Hop defended himself, claiming he had the authority to use force, but the citizen believed it violated department policy, Colorado law, and the U.S. Constitution.
I'm not going.
Why are you fighting with me? And why are you trying to slip the cuffs off?
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home.
No, you're not. Are you finished? Are you finished? We don't play this game. You understand me? And if you try to kick me, oh, this is gonna be bad.
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
The Colorado Revised Statutes under Section 18.1.707 require officers to use nonviolent means when possible before resorting to physical force. However, this provision was only added through Senate Bill 20-217, effective from September 1, 2020. At the time of Miss Garner's arrest, the statute allowed reasonable physical force for effecting an arrest. Despite her non-threatening demeanor, the officer's actions came under scrutiny. In an attempt to ascertain Miss Garner's identity, the officers questioned her about her date of birth. However, she remained unresponsive and refused to engage with them, showing apparent signs of mental instability.
Karen, I got your credit card, okay? It'll go with you. What's your date of birth, Karen? I have it. Well, you will have it with you. I will not lose it, I promise. What's your date of birth, Karen? Who's my sergeant?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first, I can tell you that. Sergeant Metzler, he's at the police department. You can go talk to him if you have an issue.
Yeah, give me your card so I can put a report.
Okay.
I see you there, how you throw the little kid.
Little kid?
Well, I don't know.
He's not
if
a little kid. And this is what happened.
He was just walking, and I see you how you grab him.
Stole from Walmart and refused to stop, refused to listen to lawful orders, and to fight me. This is what happens when you fight the police. I have to use force to safely detain her. That's what this is. This isn't just some random act of aggression.
Unfortunately, the officer seemed oblivious to the possibility of her suffering from dementia, despite her exhibiting symptoms of disorientation, memory loss, and disordered speech. The Loveland Police Department's policy on interactions with individuals suspected of mental illness clearly outlined the need for officers to be aware of such behaviors and to establish a compassionate connection while ensuring everyone's safety. Officer Hop, as seen in the body camera footage, either failed to recognize these signs or deliberately disregarded the policy during his interactions with Miss Garner. After being brought to the police station, Miss Garner was led inside by officers and left handcuffed to a bench where she remained unattended for several hours without any medical assistance. Officer Hop's use of force resulted in severe injuries for Miss Garner, including a fractured and dislocated shoulder, a bloody nose, facial scrapes, and contusions on her knees. The incident also led to her being diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, causing ongoing physical pain in her shoulder, arm, and wrist.
Here, let me see your feet.
Credit card.
We'll get it.
Oh, my credit card.
Karen, I got your credit card, okay? It'll go with you. What's your date of birth, Karen?
Oh, my credit card.
I have it. Well, you will have it with you. I will not lose it, I promise. What's your date of birth, Karen?
Security footage at the station revealed officers Hop and Jalali revealing body camera footage with community service officer Tyler Blackett, who was seen celebrating the harm caused to Miss Garner. In his narrative report on the use of force, Officer Hop recounted that upon contacting the suspect, she attempted to flee, leading to her being placed on the ground to ensure safe detainment. The suspect resisted arrest persistently, necessitating the application of multiple controlling holds. Consequently, the suspect sustained minor lacerations to her wrists from the handcuffs.
Yeah, okay.
Hey.
Let's get her down to the station.
Okay, we don't need to wait for the fellow?
No, we can see what he... I mean,
Okay.
we know what's it say?
She stole some stuff, and they caught her before she left and got it back, and then she ran out. So we have the.
And then you contacted her for that,
and then she resisted.
Obstructed and resisted. So
we're good either way.
So we're good either way.
Cool.
She's going.
All right.
If they decide not to prosecute, I don't care.
Cool. Okay, we'll head down there.
And a small laceration to her chin. Despite clear contradictions between Officer Hopp's account and the body camera footage, as well as Miss Garner's actual physical condition, higher-ranking officers, including Sergeant Metzler, approved the use of force as necessary, reasonable, and within policy. However, the situation took a significant turn when Miss Garner filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Loveland, Officers Hopp and Jalali, and Sergeant Metzler. The case gained national attention when Miss Garner's attorney, Sarah Shilka, publicly released the body camera footage on April 14, 2021. In response to public outrage, Officer Hopp was placed on administrative leave, while Officer Jalali and Sergeant Metzler were reassigned to administrative duties pending an internal investigation. Subsequently, all three officers, along with Officer Blackett, chose to resign from their positions. Now, here's our next story of a cop violating the rules. On January 12, 2023, Officer Jack Lowry of the Bloomington Police Department initiated a traffic stop on Ricky Pouncil, a local resident, as he was driving through the city of Bloomington, Minnesota, on his way back from the gym. The ensuing interaction between them was recorded on Officer Lowry's body camera. Officer Lowry informed Mr. Council that he had been pulled over for driving on the center lane and subsequently documented in his police report that the stop was due to a lane violation and driving at 53 miles an hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone as per Section 169.15 of the Minnesota statutes. The statute states that driving at a slow speed impedes normal traffic, and it's prohibited unless necessary for safety or compliance with the law. However, considering the vehicle's weight and the highway grade, Officer Lowry's belief of Mr. Council's violation may not be reasonable, as he was driving slightly below the speed limit. Additionally, Officer Lowry claimed Mr. Council was drifting between lanes, which under Section 169.8 requires driving within a single lane unless it can be done safely.
With valid license, everything? Okay. Anytime, man. I'll be back.
License status valid.
Rental car, pretty distinct reaction to my presence, and then going like 55 in middle lane, and wasn't really cooperative with me at all. Didn't want to tell me where he was coming to, where he was going. There's some luggage in the backseat too.
There's what?
Like a couple bags in the trunk. Okay. He didn't seem super cooperative, so I'm just gonna pull him out and try to talk him out here. Ricky, right?
The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld that pretextual stops, motivated by investigating potential criminal activity, are constitutionally valid, regardless of the officer's true motivations. Thus, if the court accepts Officer Lowry's statement about the lane violation, the traffic stop is likely to be deemed constitutionally valid. According to the police report, Officer Lowry conducted a search of the vehicle, finding only vitamin C capsules. Subsequently, Mr. Pouncil was released after being detained for approximately 35 minutes. The incident came to light when Mr. Pouncil's nephew reached out to relay the details. Despite Mr. Pouncil and his family's efforts to report the incident to the city of Bloomington, the Bloomington Police Department and the city attorney, no wrongdoing was found on Officer Lowry's part, and no corrective actions were taken. The encounter left Mr. Pouncil feeling marginalized and alienated from local authorities. While Officer Lowry avoided physical confrontation, he inappropriately extended the traffic stop without reasonable suspicion and used manipulative tactics to obtain consent for the search. Mr. Pouncil receives a B+ for maintaining composure and filing complaints, but his ability to challenge Officer Lowry's actions was diminished by consenting to the search.